let's go. We got 8 people, and then once we get to 9,
okay,
we'll start going.
We'll start at 9. Yeah. I don't get out of bed for any less than,
there we go.
than 9.
Darren Lund, number 9.
Oh,
there we
great.
go, kicking us off.
Darren doesn't count.
All right, well, welcome to the very first tea time. With we got some Troubled Tea here from Troubled Monk. I know maybe one of your favorite drinks. Definitely one of my new favorite drinks. And this is a Q&A with Ted and Lund. We're going to try to do these every couple weeks. We'll see how this one goes. We're not going to, I guess we won't commit to anything yet.
Yeah, and guys, let's keep the questions PG.
Yeah.
Let's not get banned from Instagram our first time doing this.
And let's remember, we just live together.
Mm-hmm.
And we cuddle sometimes, and that's it.
No, that's just live together. And if Ted keeps this up, probably for not much longer.
So Darren Lund starts off with a real brain buster of a question. We are drinking the Troubled Monk Troubled Tea that we got from our friends at Door Tender. And of course, a shout out as always to Bud Kelly at Troubled Monk. I'll let you talk about Troubled Tea a bit because I know it's one of your favorites and you drink it morning, noon, or night.
So I've got a bit of a sweet tooth, and this is deliciously sweet. They also use a lot less sugar when they're coming up with the tea, which is good for me because I eat a lot of sugar.
Yeah.
So I think I'm doing a service to my body when I'm drinking this Troubled Tea. So I'm trying to eat and drink more healthy, and I think this is a good way of doing it.
It is, yeah. It is a lot less sugar than most, so it's the right amount of sweet. Yeah. And if you, for the people out there, I know Dustin is one who's not a fan of the other teas, the other hard iced teas out there. This is one, I'm never going to, there's no guarantees in life, but I think you should try it because it is different from those other ones. It's a lot less sweet. It's got a lot better flavor to it. Hey, here we go. Right, let's go right off the bat. Actually, before we get into questions, we need to correct an error from yesterday from our Instagram Live. And not a big deal, but Dustin gave a shout out to Unapparelled, who is not our sponsor and as far as we know doesn't exist. So shout out to Unparalleled. Of course, an easy mistake to make, Unparalleled Apparel. There's words in there. Dustin has a lot of great qualities, most of them of the athletic nature. So product placement is not his. So also a shout out to Unparalleled. Again, nice warm hoodies for this type of weather. If you go on their website for Unparalleled Apparel, use ODEAR15, you can get 15% off one of these nice Sherpa hoodies or anything else on there. Like I said, I think it's perfect. If you like hanging outside when it's 1 degree, these are the sweaters for you.
I'm just thinking what all our neighbors must be thinking right now too.
Yeah.
I just think you and me are talking this to each other.
Yeah, just sitting side by side, chat. Wait till the pool comes out in the summer. Then they're really gonna. I think we're weird.
Next door neighbors that I haven't met yet either. So this could be a really entertaining first meeting.
Yeah, and so first, true or false, Lundy? Have you ever had your shirt ripped off during a dance off?
That's very true. I think I know who asked that question. It's probably happened more than once, but I can only remember one time. And it was my favorite shirt too at the time. And I think I lost 6 buttons that day. And I didn't take the time to go get it replaced. So I think I just threw the shirt out. So thanks a lot, Stacy Moore.
Yeah. Hey, you guessed it.
Yeah.
Cheers to Stacy for that question. Follow-up question.
And can I just say, if I ever ripped off Stacey Moore's shirt, we'd be having a different conversation. Apparently, it's okay for girls to rip off guys' shirts, but guys can't rip off girls' shirts.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, it is. I don't know what you want from that one.
It's 2021.
I just think maybe no one should rip no one's shirt off anymore.
Well, no, that's not.
So, follow-up question to that. Have you ever at a wedding switched shirts with someone you just met?
Yes, I did do that too. And in my defense, the guy's shirt was much better than mine, so I think I came out on top. It was very loud and bright and had a lot of cool designs. And then he told me I could keep the shirt too, and then he reneged on his deal 2 hours later, which, whatever. I mean, I got to wear it for a couple hours, got a couple good photos, and I don't remember much of the wedding, but it looked like I had a pretty good time.
Yeah. And we've got some new joiners, so again, welcome to everyone who is just joining, or if you're watching this video after the fact, which most of you are, because you might have something better to do at 4:30 on a Thursday.
Yeah, but get to work.
Yeah. Hey, ask us anything, within reason, of course, but you want to ask about us, living together, something about the podcast, something about us personally. You want us to weigh in on the big political events going on in the world. That one, you might not get a great answer. But yeah, so Dustin asked, he wants to know the weirdest story I have of you at home. And I don't know, because there's so many now. I think when you live with someone, you know what Lund thinks is weird and what I think is weird is way different, right? So his normal life, he would think is fine, and I think it's weird. I would say, here's a good one that
Yeah, only tell one.
Yeah, one.
Just one.
But this is watching Lund cook. Like, again, if he likes his flavor combinations and stuff, all power to him. But I remember one day, it was like a Sunday, he was talking about how he was going to try to make fettuccine Alfredo for the very first time. And I was like, oh, good. I was kind of finishing up making my dinner in the kitchen, and he starts pulling out some stuff. He's got his ingredient list, pulls out the Parmesan cheese, all that, and brings out a can of whipped cream, like dessert whipped cream from the fridge. And I'm like, what is that for? He said, well, you need whipping cream for the Alfredo sauce. I said, look, there's whipping cream and whipped cream are way different. And he goes, no, I think they're the same. And did you actually make it with the whipped cream, or did you?
No, you talked me out of it. I wanted to, because I thought, well, what's the worst that could happen? But you talked me out of it. And I ended up making it with something else, and it wasn't nearly as good. And in my defense, whipped cream and whipping cream,
they're not.
They sound
whipped
the same.
Cream is a dessert. Whipping cream is like whipping cream is heavy cream. Whipped cream is like has sugar added and is and all that. They're very Whipped cream is the product of whipping cream.
Well, next time
that's basic English.
Next time I make it, I'm gonna try it with whipped cream, and you won't even know the difference.
Yeah, and stay tuned another time for the crock pot story, Salmonella Gate, as I like to call it. No one got salmonella.
We had the chicken. We were fine. It was pretty good too. So he said one story.
So yeah, and that's why I said I'll save it for another time. We have okay. And I don't blame anyone for being interested in a shirtless Lund, but they want to know, have you ever danced shirtless on stage at a ladies' gala?
I feel like there's a lot of shirt questions, which I guess I've never really thought about it, but yeah, I think I've done that once, and there was a really good song playing, so I just kind of let the music take over. And like it was probably pretty hot in there, so that's why I decided to take my shirt off. And I think in retrospect, probably not the best decision, because someone snapped a photo and it did not look how I thought it looked in my mind when I was doing it. And then our buddy Kevin, who's in pretty good shape too, decided to take his shirt off too, which made it look even worse. So thanks a lot, Kev.
Yeah. If you've ever seen the old Chippendales skit from Saturday Night Live, Patrick Swayze and Chris Farley.
I am not as big as.
No,
Chris
you're not.
Farley.
In comparison, though, to the athlete, you were Chris Farley. But you know what?
Kevin's got to eat some food, though.
Yeah, pick up the fork, Kevin.
Yeah.
In Lund's defense too, all these stories just tell you that Lund is up for a good time. He's got fantastic body image, which I think is hey, don't laugh. It's important these days. Is to have a good body image.
And after I'm done drinking these, my body's going to be even better.
Yeah. The coworker Aaron, who might be the number one Lund fan in the world.
I'm a big Aaron
by
fan
the way.
too.
Yeah, so am I. But yeah, you know what? Jeez, I guess I'm okay in her books, and that's fine by me. She just wants to know what it's like being recognized by strangers as those guys from that podcast.
So Ted, I'll let you take this one, because it really hasn't happened to me yet.
It's only happened a couple times, and it's even weird to talk about this, because like we're not celebrities. I hardly consider us public figures, right? And some people have called us that. I think it's weird, but it's also great, because the point of us doing this podcast is not only for something for us to do, and it started like, hey, let's entertain our friends, some people we know, but if people are enjoying it. People are joining us in celebrating Red Deer, and taking something from it. I think that's pretty great. So yeah, when people we don't know tell us that they're listening to the podcast and we get that positive feedback, I think that's pretty awesome. Yeah, I guess it just means we're not wasting our time or not wasting our time as much.
Well, we still might be wasting our time, but people are willing to tune in while we waste our time.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, Red Deer doesn't really have anything like this right now, which is kind of surprising. We got 100,000 people in the city, and podcasts have been all the rage for the last 12 to 24 months. So good on you, and I think it was yours and Dustin's idea for us to go down this route. I know you had to twist my arm and maybe Kev's arm a little bit.
Well, I think we still do every time. It's like 7:59. We're about to record, and we can hear Lund up here watching DuckTales full blast, and
just busy doing my hair.
Yeah, it just comes down and turns it on. Stacy also wants to know: do I ever make Lund romantic meals for date night? Now, I've never made Lund a meal for his date night with someone else, but I think especially during COVID, I made you a couple nice meals. Like if I'm cooking, I like to cook 3, 4, 5 meals so I have leftovers, and yeah, why not? If Lund's here, why let it go to waste? And I think
Ted,
what was your favorite?
Well, far and away, your sister it was your sister's birthday, and it was during COVID, so she bought you a lobster, and then she bought me one too, even though I've never met her. And I said, yeah, sure. I'll have some lobster. So Ted cooked up some lobster and asparagus and something else. We had
mussels and potato salad. And
we had a bottle of wine, and then we zoomed in with his sister's family.
Yeah.
But
it's my family too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, debatable.
Yeah.
So we zoomed in with his sister's family, but once again, all the neighbors saw was just me and Ted on our deck with a bottle of wine eating lobster. So I'm pretty sure they have a different idea about us, but whatever, that's okay.
Yeah, and I remember taking the bottles in that day too, and I paid for like the mussels, the wine, like all the other ingredients. So May 20th. I know you're looking forward to my sister's birthday again.
So
yeah,
if she ever watches this, thank you, and I'd love to do it again.
Okay, Henderson says, Ted, what's the worst part of Lund's golf game? And Lund, what's the worst part of Ted's golf game?
I'll go first.
Okay, yeah.
The worst part of Ted's golf game is listening to Ted talk about his golf game.
Yeah, that's fair. Is that it?
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
I think that's the worst part of golfing with me. I don't know if it's the worst part of my game. Well, maybe it's both. It's probably both, to be honest. I think the worst part of Lund's golf game is that sometimes it's that power draw. And maybe just his swing. Like, I've never seen someone be able to hit it as far as Lund does without taking a full swing.
They're just trying to conserve energy.
Yeah, it worked. Kim wants to know, Lund, what's the weirdest thing Ted does at home?
So, his hair is not so long right now, but whenever Ted works out, he'll usually put his hair in a man bun. But
it's just a little pony.
Yeah. Or a little pony, or whatever you want to call it. But I have a strict rule of no ponies or no man buns upstairs. So you can do whatever he wants while he's on the treadmill or whatever. But the second he comes upstairs, I got to cut it off if he has it in a man bun or a pony.
Yeah, it was COVID hair got a little out of control there for a little bit last year. But oh man, we're already running out of questions. So I guess since Dustin's probably watching too, I'll make an apology to Dustin because I think he was excited for the episode to come out and promised everyone Thursday morning, and
I think that people can wait. I'm sure they're not.
I just like to be a man of my word, and it's completely Lund's fault why the episode was late. but not at all. You know what? I was a little behind on it, so I was gonna go a little late last night and finish editing it, and I fell asleep at like 1 a.m. upright in the chair and woke up at about 6 a.m. in a panic. Edited pretty hard for 2 hours until work and got it posted on my lunch break.
Can you show everyone how you think you slept? Like what position you slept in last night? Because I don't know how you slept in an upright computer chair for 5 or 6 hours.
I think the way I woke up is actually like my hand was still on the mouse, or like not on the mouse, but on the table. So it actually was like one of these. So so not only did I wake up in a panic, but you go like this, and it was pretty painful because I was a little stiff, and luckily it's a pretty big, comfy chair. But honestly, man, it was like a 5-hour sleep in a chair, and I woke up feeling great.
I think
I did a better job editing after my 5-hour chair sleep than if I would have just stayed up.
Did you know where you were when you woke up?
Oh, no.
Did you think you were like at the office?
I thought I was dreaming, or
Yeah. That's
no. I know when I'm sleeping at the office.
Yeah.
We're live. Yeah,
your little hiding spot underneath your desk.
Yeah.
No, I never sleep at the office.
Okay. Here's a good question from Bree. What's your favorite Oh Dear segment you've recorded so far?
Oh, that's a good one.
For me, it's easy. Is Netflix or nonsense?
Yeah.
Because it was so much fun. It actually started a shout out to coworker Erin, who's more or less the founder of this game, and her and I and the athlete play it sometimes. But making that with Walsh was a ton of fun. You get the creativity going, and then it just trying to read them and your guys' reactions. I think we do lots of fun segments, and there's none that any of you have heard that we don't like, because if we don't like it, we cut it. It's pretty plain and simple. So
yeah, and Ted's cut a lot of my good ideas. Let me just say.
Yeah.
So I like all the games that me and Dustin. Well, most of the games that me and Dustin have played. The Alberta Man or Florida Man game was probably one of my favorites, because you just read these really, really outrageous headlines that, like, I wouldn't guess were true, but obviously Ted's found them from somewhere. And more times than not, you think, there's no way this happened in Alberta. And then sure enough, there's some outrageous story that's even more unbelievable than the headline. So I'd like to bring that segment back.
That was the original too. And I wrote that actually the night. So we didn't even decide it until the Saturday afternoon, way back. I think it's actually like tomorrow will be our 3-month anniversary of releasing episode 1, which is crazy. It feels like way longer. But I think I wrote that one at like 4 a.m. It's like, okay, I'm not even ready to do this podcast. So I wrote it, and it came to me.
You need to.
I remember talking to Keith Henderson on Zoom at like 2 a.m. When he's obviously at his most creative. And
I've had a few Keith Henderson 1 or 2
and
a.m.
then it just kind of came to me, and we'll have to bring that one back too. We're at 4-3. So hey, tell you what, if you can force
can that be the final
round?
Tiebreaker?
Yeah, we will go Netflix or nonsense.
Okay.
I saw we got a like here from Troubled Monk, so cheers to them again, and to Door Tender, and hey, to all of you. The fact that there's more than 3 people watching this right now, I think is a lot of fun and a little surprising. So, Kevin, Ted, I want you to answer this too. Everyone knows the answer. If you had to give up hot dogs or sex for the rest of your life, which do you pick? Well, I have hot dogs all the time. So in contrast, it's a pretty easy choice. You give up something that you have all the time, or no? Hot dogs stay.
No, I'll give up hot dogs.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah, that's obvious.
Yeah, we all make a choice. Yeah.
That's hands down obvious.
Oh, I like this question. This is like a good deep question.
Oh no.
What was your favorite takeaway from Cam Moon's interview?
Oh, so okay, so this is that's a good
I've got a different answer probably than you.
So I mean, I don't really know Cam Moon very personally at all. All I know him is just from listening to him on the radio and from calling the games, and I know he's been the voice of the Red Deer Rebels for 20 plus years. And I honestly thought that's all he did. I thought he would show up to the game, call the game, go home, and call it a night. I didn't realize he was putting in 12 or 16-hour days, and how involved he was with the entire team. So I've got a lot more respect for what those guys do. I thought the extent of his job was just kind of figuring out how to pronounce names, and that's it. So
that's Dustin Moore's nightmare job too.
Yeah, I bet. So yeah, he did probably 10 times more work than I thought was required for that job, which it makes a lot of sense now because he's so professional, and that interview just showed how well prepared he was. So that, for me, was my biggest takeaway.
Yeah, for me, it was just it was different because I don't think we've talked about it, not a ton, but up until 5 years ago, I was in the radio industry, and I was an aspiring broadcaster. I did color commentary for the Okotoks Oilers of the Alberta Junior Hockey League. And so for me, having lived that life just a little bit, not to the extent that Cam has it all, but just you meet a lot of people in that industry. And you know what? It's the people like Cam are successful because of how they are. You don't meet a lot of guys. You won't interview anyone who's a play-by-play broadcaster for the NHL who's not like Cam, because those guys don't make it. You know, and you think about in the winter, when was the last time that guy had a weekend to himself in the winter? Right? So for me, again, it just kind of reminded me, you know, I love what I do now. I miss radio a little bit. This podcast has been great for me to kind of, as that creative outlet and to get to feel that vibe again. But it just reminded me, you know, again, shout out to Gino, the play-by-play guy in Okotoks. We used to have a ton of fun calling games together. So just kind of reminded me from those times. And I think, again, my biggest takeaway is man, just keep grinding. For me, you know what, whatever I'm doing, just keep going, and it's keeping my passion alive. So good question. I'm sure we're going to get some other shirtless questions.
Who asked that question? That was
Jay Moltzy. So
that's a good question.
Yeah. Amy says, cute sweaters, fellas. And Kate says, are y'all matching? Yes, we are. Again, just to a shout out to Unparalleled Apparel. You know, we got hooked up with these sweaters, a great new partner of ours. And as Dustin mentioned too, there's some merch coming down the pipe.
Ted, don't you feel like a TSN broadcaster? And then at the end of the segment, it says
clothing provided by,
yeah. And it's like some fancy clothing store.
Yeah, it is. And you know what? I never really thought we'd be those people, but we are. So again, if you like these sweaters, Unparalleled has some great stuff and more coming. So check them out.
And you can wear them outside when it's only 4 degrees.
Yeah,
so that's good.
And that's how you do product placement.
Okay.
So Troubled Monk. We better answer this one. You can share a beer with anyone in the world. Who's your pick? Are we going with like anytime or currently alive?
I'd say currently alive. Let's make it.
Yeah, I'm afraid of ghosts, so that's probably better. That's a really tough question. I mean, I've got like my number 7 pick is sitting beside me right now. That's pretty good. There's millions of people in the world. At least. So
7's extremely high. You're not my number 7.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, different people, different priorities. Man, there's so many different angles. You know what? I'm gonna go. To me, is Dave Grohl of the Foo Fighters. I think he's one of the most talented musicians, talented people ever. He's seen a lot, obviously, ups and downs, right? Going through what he went through with Nirvana and the things he's done with the Foo Fighters. And if you've ever seen them live or an interview, you know he's probably the coolest person on the planet. And I can imagine one beer would turn to 12. And I just think he's someone who deserves to try troubled tea.
Yeah, I bet you he'd like it too.
Yeah. So yeah, Dave Grohl would be up there, and maybe a runner-up to Bob McKenzie from TSN, because I think he's I just think he seems like the coolest guy too. Second coolest guy. Not everyone can be the coolest, so yeah.
Oh geez, that's a tough one. I think a fun guy. So I was gonna say Prince Harry. Just to get the lowdown on what really went on, and I'll say the Prince Harry or Prince William, like at the same time, and that way they can hash it all out.
And like your own kind of Jerry Springer.
And I can kind of mediate and kind of repair the whole royal family. And then maybe get invited to a couple of the next big wedding or the next big party.
I have always thought, like almost every day, I think, man, like Lund's good at his job, but he really should be a royal family mediator. That was what he was born to do.
Oh God, I've never really paid attention until just recently, and no, probably. You know who I'd like to meet is Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah,
he'd be a really fun guy to have.
Yeah, he would. Yeah, and Canadian.
Yeah,
not right there.
He's very, very sarcastic, which I'm a little sarcastic too.
Yeah,
so
I'm like Ryan Reynolds without the looks and abs and talent and fame and
money
and Blake Lively.
Actually, I'll change it to Blake Lively. Yeah. No,
Yeah,
I'm kidding. No,
I think the royal family would be good. I think they would enjoy this tea.
Oh, high tea with the
Yeah.
royal family? Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Put a couple back with the queen.
Yeah. Hey,
Oh,
Troubled
my
Monk,
God.
I know you guys have some pull. If you can set up a high tea,
Mhm.
I think that'd be pretty good publicity.
Yes, please.
Another one, this is best country after Canada. So I don't know if this is our favorite country we've been to or just best. To me, it's going to be both, is Spain. I mean, they nap in the middle of the afternoon. I don't need, that answer doesn't need to be any longer than that.
Yeah.
But-
Have you been?
I have been, yeah. I've been to Barcelona, and it's such a cool place. I think I was like 19, 20, was there with my family, but I remember going at like midnight to a cafe with my dad and just hanging out, and that's when the streets come alive. It's obviously, I didn't appreciate the history then like I would now, so I'd really like to go back. But yeah, no, I think it's a beautiful place. It's a great vibe, and afternoon naps.
I'll probably say the Netherlands. Fun country, good soccer team. Fun. I've heard they have an interesting red light district. I've been there once, and yeah, it's
And that's how you heard, is just when you were there, you heard about it.
yeah. No, I didn't go there, but I'd like to go back. Yeah, Netherlands.
So I just want to know, doesn't look like any more questions right now. Still, we got a couple more minutes if anyone wants to ask one. Just to wrap up, Lund, because I know this podcast stuff is not new to me. Well, the podcast is, but the recording, the audio side of it, that's all my bread and butter. Things I've been doing for 10 years. For you, what's been the best thing about, or what have you enjoyed the most so far about doing this podcast? And what's been the biggest learning curve for you, or something maybe that you don't like other than me trying to tell you do this, do that?
So the best thing is just to kind of see all the support we've been getting from local businesses and people around town, and how the community is kind of really engaged, especially right now during COVID. How everyone's willing to support us while we're trying to support them too, and get their name out there. So just kind of the whole community attitude, the camaraderie. For me, that's been the best thing about this whole podcast. The biggest surprise is just how much work it actually takes to produce it. Beforehand, I thought we would just sit on the deck or sit on the couch, record it for 2 hours, and then set it and forget it, and then post it like 20 minutes later. Maybe take out a few swear words, take out a few things that we said that were stupid. But no, there's a lot of editing that goes on. There's a lot of small things. There's a lot of things behind the scenes that get done, which Ted does all of that. So that's probably why he fell asleep in his chair last night. So for me, that's been the biggest eye opener. And Ted, let me ask you a question. Where do you want to see this podcast go over the next year?
That's a tough one, because right now I'm working. I didn't do a good job this episode, but I'm working on making my time in this less and less, because we all have careers too, and it's getting nicer out. Before, I didn't mind spending some evenings and stuff, and sometimes it turns into an extra full-time job. I think number one is I want us to stay where we're at. I want us to keep doing what we're doing, trying new things. I want people to keep enjoying it. You know what? If it grows, it grows. I think we're at a good spot right now, and I've really enjoyed the opportunity too to partner with these local businesses, and it's weird to say, but be a platform for them too to get their faces out there and maybe help boost their business. If you haven't listened yet to the door tender interview, we talked about how through word of mouth, we found that more and more people are using door tender. So I want to keep doing that, and yeah, I just want to keep entertaining. I think me. You can call me a lot of things. Just don't tell me I'm not funny. And yeah, I want to keep growing. I think, hey, can we do this podcast full time? Probably not. But you know what? I want to keep going. I don't want to at the end of this year say, Kate, we had a good run. So yeah, that's a tough question, because just like when I start a sentence, I don't know where it's going to go. It could go anywhere. So I just want to keep doing what we're doing, and that's why we're taking this extra week off in between episodes to avoid some burnout. But and we can't say anything yet. We do have an exciting step for this podcast that we don't know when it's going to happen, but it's going to happen, and it's going to be a lot of fun, and I think that's going to be a big game changer.
All right. Well, I'm excited to find out what that is.
And hey, we got great talking, boys. Hey, great listening and typing.
Nice.
And hey, 5 o'clock, that's a half hour. I think that's probably good, unless I don't see any other questions. So I think this is just a good. Listen, I say it. I get to close out every episode and stuff. Why don't you close this out best you can? And you know what? We've got 10 people now that held on this long, but
Perfect.
Hopefully another 8 to 10 to 50, however many that are going to watch this later. So you just say whatever you want to say.
Well, I don't know why you guys are still on. You should be working right now. But good for you for watching full 20 or 30 minutes of us sit in our backyard and have some troubled tea. And hopefully we'll be able to do a bit more creative stuff going forward. And thanks for all the shirt questions, I guess.
Yeah. Hey, there's that's funny. Mark Horsley under the wire asked, has Lundy changed his sweater in the last month? And honestly, to tell you the truth, if you had this sweater, which you can, and you can get 15% off on it.
No, nice.
Yeah, smooth. I don't even think people noticed that was an ad. You wouldn't take this sweater off either. It's the most comfortable sweater out ever, but I think the answer is no.
It sounds like Mark's a little jealous.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, get off your wallet, buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you got all that free snow shoveling this winter. You can afford a sweater.
Got him.
Hey, we did miss a question.
Ted, we already wrapped up.
I know.
We already did the wrap up.
But you did such a good job. I want you to wrap up again. And someone has a question. We're going to answer it.
Wrap up a second time.
Best food to eat when? Well, you know when. If it's late at night, best food to eat. I'm not. Just in case, we're not going to say.
So it's either beans and wieners or pizza.
Yeah. Oh, you might have missed the subtlety of the when.
Oh yeah, what does that mean? Like when what? When?
Let's just say
when high.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah, I guess it's legal. I don't know why I'm still so tentative about it.
Beans and wieners.
Is beans and wieners. I am a big. What is it? Man, I like it all. The answer is all of the above.
Or chips.
But hey, and the fudge covered Nutter Butters.
Yeah, those
that I know I say no free ads, but those babies sell themselves anyways. Though that's probably it, and that's just an anytime snack. So if you're at the store, you see some fudge covered Nutter Butters, make sure you get them.
Ted, Nutter Butters not even paying us to say that stuff.
Yeah.
I see.
We're working an angle. Can you imagine? Like next time it's tea time with troubled tea and Nutter Butter.
If we get the Nutter Butter contract, I can say goodbye to this body.
Yeah. Hey, you're gonna say goodbye to it anyways. You're running.
Yeah.
You're getting there. Yeah. And Kara, I might cut your lawn this summer. To be honest, we'll see. I seem to like to promise things like that as a
Kara,
bet or a prize.
cut your own lawn.
Yeah.
Come on.
And hey, you get a close out twice. So that is it. That was the last question. But I will say thank you guys for joining. Huge thank you to we got the Troubled Tea. So thank you to Troubled Monk. As always, make sure you use Door Tender. Support local when and where you can. And hey, over to you.
Hey, have a good night and an even better weekend, Red Deer.
And a good Friday day.
Well, if they're tuning in now, they're obviously not working Friday.
Well, I guess I got to walk to the camera, so I better suck in. And all right, bye.
See ya.
Oh, dear.